You're watching Fox 45 Morning News. All local, all morning.
The fallout in question surrounding President Trump's executive order banning immigration from 7 Muslim countries continues. Over the weekend, thousands of travelers were stranded in airports as lawyers and courts moved in to try to sort it all out. Well, we've got immigration lawyer Adam Crandell joining us to help us to try to do the same. And this is so much, we'll never be able to get through the ins and outs of all of this. But just overall, Attorney General Yates was just fired because she could not enforce what the executive order said. She said, I'm not even sure this is lawful. So as it stands, what was put out on Friday, is that the entirety of that lawful?
Well, certainly with respect to the portion of the order that deals with the travel ban, there are serious questions about the legality of that order. Clearly, most people understand that the president has broad authority to enforce the immigration laws. However, that authority is not limitless. The checks on that authority are found in the Constitution and in the immigration laws themselves, which say, for example, that the immigration laws cannot discriminate against people based on race, religion, or country of origin. There are also due process concerns and First Amendment concerns, and some of these we are seeing in court challenges throughout the country, bringing these issues and challenging the president's authority with respect to that travel ban.
And I guess that is the question. Where does his authority end? Because he says we are doing this in the interest of public safety, national security here. And he's also saying, we've seen several tweets about it, he says, I'm not doing anything different than what President Obama did in 2012 when they halted Iraqi refugees from being able to come in for about 6 months there. But those facts don't seem to be the same as what the president is declaring here.
No, it is different now. Obviously, it includes a much broader swath of individuals trying to enter the United States. We saw over the weekend confusion about whether permanent residents or green card holders from those specific countries were permitted to in fact enter the United States, and there was a lot of confusion over that. So this is a much broader ban than President Obama or even President Bush before, after 9/11, put into place.
And I guess there is also a question because the Trump administration is defending what they're doing, saying this isn't a religious ban. We're not. This is a danger ban. That's a fine line. It
is a fine line, and that's essentially what the courts will have to decide. The challenges brought to the executive order dealing with the First Amendment deal with that religious aspect and whether the United States, or whether the president's orders, rather, are in violation of the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment.
Will there be cases where people who have lived here legally, you think, not be allowed to live here in longer? They've established jobs and families, and you know they've been told, well, you can't come back or you can't remain.
Well, that remains to be seen. I mean, my understanding is that a large number of people were detained at airports over the weekend. There is much confusion over this order and its implementation, or how it's designed to be implemented. We've seen reports that the Homeland Security Secretary isn't necessarily on the same page as the president, which is problematic when it comes to enforcing these orders on the ground.
There's so many more questions. Thank you so much for trying to help us weed through some of this, but I imagine this is going to be a long time coming to figure all this out.
It will be.
We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll continue to follow, but in the meantime, we want to get over to John.